A lot of interesting comments about the quarterback position coming out of the Plains this week. Let's talk about it on this Wednesday edition of the Uptempo Podcast.
You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Yes, sir. Happy hump day to my Auburn family. Hope everybody's week is good, man. We're halfway to Friday, guys. Hang in there. I'm your host, Dustin Smith, joined as always by my guy, Blake Lane. Blake, how are we, brother?
What is up, Dustin? What is up, Auburn family? Glad to be here. Glad to talk about the QB position this Wednesday morning. A lot of interesting quotes that we're going to dive into. That's going to be some fun. And I know a lot of people are anxious to see if it's Robbie, to see if it's Peyton. You know, there's a lot of hype around them too right now, and what kind of QB competition it will actually be, right? So I'm excited about that, Dustin. And for our Auburn family and our viewers, listeners, followers, if you could hit that like button, smash it for us. Click the bell for notifications when we go live or drop new videos. So you will be notified to come check out the Uptempo podcast. We greatly appreciate it, and we love each and every one of you.
Yes, sir. Trying to get to 1,000 before kickoff, guys. So sub to that. Sub to that for us. And go to Home Field Apparel, 15% off, man. Uptempo, all caps. Yeah, you want to look like Blake, man. Look at that fly shirt. You want to look like Blake. So, Blake, man, everyone's been talking all week, bro, about quarterback, can't get away from it, right? Beginning of the week, Vegas had the odds for Robbie Ashford to be the odds-on favorite to be the starter. You are the betting guy of the podcast. You know much more about how all that kind of stuff works. I know my personality, man. I'm not even going to get involved in that kind of stuff because I will go down a rabbit hole. So I avoid things that people get addicted to. But then the very next day, they switch it up and they say, no, actually, it's Peyton Thorne. So my thoughts on this, Blake, and I'll kick it to you, was simply I think that got some action, got some traction, the whole Robbie Ashford thing. And then I think that somebody probably got in the odds maker's ears and said, hold on just a second, guys. I see this kind of getting some play down there in Auburn, and I'm here to let y'all know, hold off on this one. What you think, man?
Who was it? Phil Steele that had him winning the quarterback job?
Yeah, he does a real big preseason magazine.
Yeah, so he had Robbie winning the job, and I think that's kind of where Vegas looked at this thing and said, okay, well, we're going to put Robbie as the favorite, and we're going to put Peyton at plus money as the underdog. And obviously all the Auburn faithful, the fans, everybody just jump on it, right? And they're like, well, Peyton at plus money, that's an easy bet. And I think Vegas was just kind of like, hold up, we didn't really, catch this vibe. And so after they were just bombarded by Peyton Thorne love, which I know both of us, we also love Peyton Thorne. We love Robbie as well, but we know that we think we know that Peyton Thorne is the clubhouse favorite, right? So, I think the switch up the very next morning was due to that. And they didn't want people coming down there and getting Peyton Thorne on plus money, right? And so they had to switch them odds up pretty quickly. But look, it's a QB battle, and you're not going to know until August 2nd when fall camp starts and we get to truly see the quarterbacks go at it. And they start repping, and Hugh gets in their ears and stays on their ass, right? So that's when we'll really, really get to dive in deep and get to know a little bit more about both of these guys.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of it is, for one, for Phil Steele, man, we cover one team, and it's hard to know everything about one team. So trying to do a preseason magazine for the entire Division I of NCAA, probably pretty tough. Pretty sure that, you're not going to get everything right. I don't know how big his staff is. And look, this is not some like crazy stretch. It it would have been much more controversial if it was Holden Gerner, right, or Hank Brown. This is not some just wild. Like, there's a world we can see where Robbie wins the job, and I've said several times, just personally, that's what I'm pulling for. Because I'll say it again, I respect what Robbie did for us last year. You know, a guy that goes in there and plays hurt, and has to play hurt because other guys in that room are refusing to go in and burn a year of eligibility. So he says, well, screw it. I'll go out here and I'll handle it my damn self, man. In a lost season, said several times, I have nothing but love for that. Said several times, I just love a running quarterback as a fan. So the fan in me, I'm pulling for Robbie to win this job. And it's not like, if I was putting a percentage on it, right, I wouldn't say it's 85% Peyton Thorne and then 15 Robbie. I'd probably have it at 70-30, 65-35. You know, like it's not this out of the world, the realm of possibility that Robbie wins the job. What Robbie can do with his feet, I'm not sure if there's another quarterback in the country that can do that, because I don't know how many. I don't know. You could probably count them on one hand how many better athletes there are in the country than Robbie Ashford. So, and we'll get into this in a second, this part of the discussion. So Robbie's got to get the ball, right? Like Robbie, me and you've been saying that all summer, that Robbie's got to get touches in the game. There's no way you can have a guy that athletic on the bench the entirety of the game. It's what do the roles look like, and how does that all get defined? But as far as him being the odds-on favorite to win the starting job, he's just not, and he's just not. And I can only really say, it's just you just hear things, right? You know, you just hear things. And I'll say this: just go back to what you do know. Just go back to what's been said publicly. Hugh Freeze didn't bring up when he said there are maturity issues in this quarterback room prior to Peyton Thorne coming in. That wasn't said for no reason. There's a reason that was said. There are things that have happened for that to be said. Can those things be corrected? Sure. I'll just come out and say it. I feel like, from some of the things that I've heard and just what we've seen publicly, forget what I've heard, some of the comments that coach has made, and you saw whenever Peyton Thorne came in, some of the players were openly on Twitter saying, hey, we need you. We need a guy. So they're doing that with Robbie on the team.
Yep.
Okay. So that tells you something. So what it tells me is not everybody's bought into 9. So it's gonna be fun. Robbie played for us hurt. Robbie showed us potential. We still haven't seen Peyton Thorne take a down in an Auburn uniform. So we don't know. This is all speculation. This is all assumption. This is why me and Blake are absolutely sick and freaking tired of pontificating and guessing and talking and predicting. Because how many more predictions can we make? I mean, I could really wrap this episode in 3 minutes. It's not good for content, but I could really wrap it up in 3 minutes and say, we don't know a damn thing. We'll see you August 2nd.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because we all thought that it was Zach Calzada last year, right?
Great point.
And clearly that didn't work. And another thing with Robbie too, he was hurt again in the spring, man. So all the football stuff aside, is he going to be okay? I mean, if he comes in and if that shoulder continues to bother him as we kick off fall camp, you know me, I'm going to say, okay, dude, too many injury issues every time we see you. So, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff there. But it was fun to watch the Vegas thing. Like you said, definitely just kind of seemed like somebody got over there and said, guys, we're going to lose money on this.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is way up.
Dustin, let me ask you this. You know, I see a lot of stuff about Robbie saying that he didn't have the offensive line last year. He was running for his life, and he didn't have any time to set his feet and throw the football down the field. And, you know, all of those things, right? With Philip Montgomery's style coming in and Hugh and the RPO game and everything, do you think Robbie fits this offense a lot better than he did the Harsin and Keesaw offense? And do you think that could help him raise his stock? to be the starting quarterback at Auburn
Oh,
University.
yeah. 100%, man. 100%. If let's say that Peyton, because he's around a low 60% completion percentage on his career, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that Peyton hangs around there. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
he hangs around at 61, 62%. Not lighting the world on fire, but he's playing solid. Let's say that Robbie raises his completion percentage up to around 57 to 58. Does that, let's say Peyton's at 62 and Robbie raises his to 58. Does that 4% that Peyton's better, does that cancel out Robbie's athletic ability? Like it's just, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I could say this, you get a couple of injuries on that offensive line, and then all of a sudden Robbie might look like the better option, right? Because we saw last year with just how bad the offensive line was from the get-go. That was a lot of people's point was like, hey, man, TJ's not ever going to have a fair shot behind this offensive line because of his play style.
Mm-hmm.
We all think the offensive line has improved, but we all think that.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that.
Great point.
So if the offensive line isn't what we think it's going to be, or if fall camp happens, hey, got my Buccaneers t-shirt on. Our season got unrailed last year in Tampa 5 minutes into day one. Ryan Jensen, the starting center, went down the second snap of opening fall camp. Tore his ACL, was out for the year.
Yep.
The season was done right there. Hell, Auburn took a pretty big shot when Nick Brahms went out at the beginning of the season last year, right?
Yep.
So things can happen before the season, which, by the way, you're not going to see any predictions on this podcast until about a week or two before the season, because
absolutely
fall camp matters. So there's a lot of things that could happen in camp outside of the actual quarterback. If they're neck and neck, or if one guy's just a little bit better, then it's going to be, can Robbie make up the difference with his legs and the intangibles? If they're even, we know it's going to be about the intangibles, right?
Yeah.
Who's the better leader? Who is the guy that the huddle is going to listen to more? Who's the guy that has a locker room? That's where it's going to be if it's even. So it'll just be, man, I mean, August 2nd can't get here soon enough, man. But I don't think that one of the narratives that has come out of this week is people are kind of shocked to find out that the door is not completely shut on Robbie. And I've never felt that it was. I think that Peyton Thorne is the leader. If I had to put money on it, I would put my money on Peyton Thorne to win the job. But the fact that, like, Robbie's not just completely out is not shocking to me in any kind of way.
You remember I told you a couple of days ago that Robbie's going to have to be much, much better than Peyton in fall camp. And it's going to have to be consistently better, right? I mean, he's going to have to take leaps and bounds to consistently outperform him day by day, all right, for him to win this job. And that is deep ball, that's intermediate throws, that's check downs, whatever it is. All right. He is going to have to be flawless to win this job, in my opinion. I just think the way Hugh wants to run things is with a guy that can throw it around the yard. And it screams Peyton Thorne to me, right? And I think that's why I kind of laughed at the whole Vegas thing. I laughed at the whole Vegas thing when I saw Robbie as the favorite. I was just like, no way. There's no way this is real. And, they switched it up. They put Peyton in there as the new favorite and Robbie as the underdog. And look, we're both on the same page. I think that is the correct way. I think Peyton Thorne will start week 1. But the thing I want to ask you, Dustin, is there was some comments and some quotes that were introduced to us that the Auburn Tigers could potentially play 2 quarterbacks this year. Okay. And now it starts getting a little cloudy, right? Because we're sitting here arguing, well, is it Peyton? Is it Robbie? Well, I know there was some things that you want to say because Hugh Freeze said that it could possibly be both.
Right. Yeah. So I'm going to read the comments here. So the story was by Pete Thamel, who is just beloved on the plains, from ESPN.com. Really love you, Pete. You do awesome work, man. Appreciate you getting me a strike on Twitter, by the way. So, I'm sorry, I'm petty. So, here's the comments, though. Great work, Pete. Freeze told ESPN on Tuesday that Auburn could end up playing 2 quarterbacks at times this season. Incumbent Robbie Ashford and Michigan State transfer Peyton Thorne are expected to battle for the starting position. Hugh Freeze's quotes: "Do I think it's possible to play 2 quarterbacks and win? I do, actually, if they handle it the right way. Someone is going to have to be the starter, and someone is going to have to be the guy that you depend on in the fourth quarter. Robbie Ashford can win us games. He can help win us games. He is the most freakish athlete I've ever had at quarterback. Can he be the starter? I don't know that yet. But can we use him to help us win games? There's no doubt in my mind he can if he's mature enough to handle the competition." Okay. So again, the maturity thing comes up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Hugh's not just saying that. There's a reason why Hugh is saying that. And it's not, and I don't want people, because we've been saying this lately, right? But we have to talk about it. I don't want people to think that this is like knocking, like this big knock on Robbie. Like, I'm not indicating or trying to insinuate that behind the scenes, Robbie is just late or he's this or he's that, that he's a bad kid and not doing what that's not what we're insinuating. What we're saying is, and what Hugh's saying here is, there's a certain level a starting quarterback needs to be at as far as leadership goes. So what a wide receiver that might be a leader on the team, or a linebacker or somebody like that, what they're required to do to be a leader is just different. It's just different. And watch if you don't understand it, just watch that Netflix show Quarterback. It'll tell you everything. It's awesome, dude. It really is. For one, I don't ever want to hear anybody ever again say, "I don't know why these guys make $18 million a year." You want to know why they make $18 million a year? Because there's about 32 guys walking the planet that can start on an NFL team for a quarterback, because they work 90 hours a week, because they drive down the road after practice and they're reading out Z-Ride X92Y, like the work that goes into it, the injuries that they have to play through, what Kirk Cousins was playing through last year, and nobody knows, bro. Yeah. Like, you don't even know until you watch the series. It's like, man, what it takes to be a quarterback. And Robbie, to be fair, just played some of that last year, playing with that shoulder. He told Mike G, I couldn't even feel how far I was throwing it because I had no feeling in my shoulder. So giving him all the leeway, all the understanding, I do think this is an open competition. But that maturity quote from Hugh Freeze is, again, that word comes up again when specifically talking about Robbie. So there's something there that Hugh Freeze still feels like he needs to see, right? And then as far as the idea of playing 2 quarterbacks, so this is where we'll go with this. What I think Hugh is saying here is a lot more of something like 2009 versus 22 last year. I think he's talking about a Chris Todd, Cody Burns situation, much more than a Robbie Ashford, TJ Finley situation last year. I just do not see Hugh Freeze switching quarterbacks mid-drive the way that we did in that infamous Penn State drive where we complete the pass to Landon King, don't see Landon King get a ball thrown to him the rest of the year. You pull the quarterback that made the throw and the receiver that caught the pass off the field the very next play. That is just about the stupidest shit I've ever seen watching Auburn football. And it was stupid right then. Me and you were in the stadium. We were screaming how stupid it was. A lot of people were. And I just don't think that Hugh Freeze is going to do that. I've watched Hugh Freeze enough. He's a good coach. That's just really stupid, and I don't think Hugh Freeze is going to do that. What I think Hugh Freeze is indicating here is Robbie Ashford is a really, really good athlete. Like he said, the most freakish athlete I've ever coached. I have to find ways to get the ball in his hand. Do I think that there's actually going to be a 2 quarterback system? No, I don't. I think that Robbie's going to have some packages, and I think that will depend on how the game flow goes. If Peyton Thorne is out there versus LSU and he's lighting it up in Baton Rouge, are you going to pull him off the field to bring in Robbie?
No,
probably not. If he's 15 for 21 in the first half for 182 yards and 2 touchdowns, you're not going to go in a halftime and be like, we got to find a way to get Robbie some runs. Like, if you're moving the ball, you're not going to do that. But now if you find yourself in a 3rd and 1 and you feel like there's something you've seen on tape, I just think that's what he's saying. I think he's saying, listen, I've got the most dynamic athlete at quarterback probably in the country. If I'm missing somebody, I'm missing somebody. But as far as just pure athletic ability, I've got that dude. So I got to find ways to get in the ball. And right before I turn it to you, Blake, also, we're a week out from fall camp. Is he going to come out and say, yeah, Robbie ain't got a shot? Only person that's going to play is going to be Peyton Thorne. Holden, Robbie, Hank, mail it in. I don't want to see y'all try. Like, of course he's not going to say that. And that wouldn't be beneficial to Robbie, and that wouldn't be beneficial to Peyton. He's going to say everything we've seen him say since Nashville. This is no different to me. This is him just saying, you've got a QB competition. I'm going to see who wins the job.
Yep. And I agree with you. Everything with Robbie and coming in the game, I think he's going to have packages. I don't think this is going to be like last year where, we're marching the ball down into Penn State territory or whoever, like Arkansas, whoever, we get down there inside the 40 and all of a sudden we see a quarterback change, we get a first down, and then we see another quarterback change. And on 3rd and 18, we throw Robbie back in the game. And I'm like, what is going on? I mean, it was awful. All right. So I know Hugh's not going to do that. Right. But what I do expect is early in the season against a UMass. All right. I think Robbie could torch Cal. All right. Like, you get Robbie the ball in open space, I think he could torch Cal. And I think he's going to have some packages where he comes in on a 2nd and 4 or, whatever, 2nd and 5. And, he could run a read option and he can either pull it or hand it off or, whatever. All right. He's going to have a package to where he gets the football and he gets the opportunity to make a play. Now, gotta hold on to the ball. All right. Got to hold on to the ball. There was some times last year where we thought he had 30 yards of green grass out in front of him, and he just dropped the football.
No excuse. Can't happen again.
There was times where he just put it on the ground, And so I think early in the season, what I'm trying to say is he's going to get some run. All right. He's going to get on the football field, whether he's a decoy or what. You run a Robbie Ashford out there and they have to point to him and say, hey, look, there's one of the most athletic players in Division I football. He just stepped foot on the football field. All right. So we got to account for him. All right. Could Robbie get the football? No, he's a decoy. All right. But if he comes in and he makes plays early against UMass, Cal, Samford, okay, who's to say that, you go out to Texas A&M, you get inside the 20, you're kind of struggling. It's been hard. You've been having to kick field goals. It's a 10-6 game or 10-9 game or 13-10 like it was last year. Who's to say you throw Robbie Ashford in the game and let him work. Give him a package. All right. Give him a play call. Let him keep the football. Let him, I don't think he'll drop back and throw much. All right. But
the threat, though, just the threat.
It is the threat. It is the threat. All right. And that's what's going to have to make defenses respect him. And I just think that if he gets on the field early in the season, inside the 20s, I think he could do damage in the red zone. I really do, Dustin. Now, like I said, if he starts turning the ball over and it goes, as a disaster, then I think Hugh might look at it and be like, hey, let's just stick with Peyton from here on out. Let's just ride with Thorne and the whole 2 QB thing. Let's get rid of it. I don't think we're going to be at the 50 like LSU 2 years ago and Harsin look at Bo and say, Bo, come out, TJ, go in, and I'm sitting here going, what are we doing? We're moving the football. We just got a first down. It's 1st and 10, and you take Bo Nix off the field and you put TJ Finley in there. Like, it's a disaster. I don't see that happening. So, I do think Robbie could get some touches. He might get 3, 4, 5 touches a game. I don't know. But I do think he will get a chance to be on the football field.
Yeah, and like matchups, right? So what if
Mhm.
what if you watch what if we have a team where we're coming up and playing them? Say we're playing Ole Miss, right? And Hugh sees on film that earlier in the season, Ole Miss struggled with the zone read,
Yep.
particularly that their ends struggled just deciding whether to crash on the quarterback or the running back. And he says, okay, this is something that I can exploit with Robbie.
Mhm.
So matchups and spark, like you said, when you're talking about the A&M game, if you're in a 13-10 game and then it's like, man, it's just getting stale and dull and it's watered down, and you bring in Robbie and he busts off a 25-yard run, all
Mhm.
of a sudden it's just that spark that it can provide, man. And
Mhm.
like I said, I really see a situation like '09. I
Yeah.
really do. Where we ran the ball. We ran the ball with Ben Tate a lot, and Ontario was on that team, correct? Yeah, Ontario was on
Yeah.
that team.
Yeah.
We ran the ball a lot with Ben, and then Ontario kind of that Ben was between the tackles. Ontario was the speed sweep, and then you had Chris Todd just playing solid quarterback. I'm pretty sure it was 21 touchdowns to 6 interceptions.
Yeah.
Um, you would take that in there right now. I would sign up blood oath for Peyton Thorne to do that
Oh
next
yeah.
year, right? So,
Absolutely.
and then you use Cody Burns and the Wildcat. I really think it's going to be something like that. But I think Robbie's a little bit more of a threat. I think he's a little bit of a better passer than Cody was.
Mhm.
So yeah, and then also Hugh's managing a room. Like a lot of times, when you hear comments about quarterback, you can focus on this guy. So you can say, okay, this is about Robbie, or this is about Peyton, whatever. Hugh had to use like every quarterback he had on the roster at Liberty last year. He went into
Yeah.
Fayetteville and won with his third string. So I
Mhm.
think he
Great
understands
point.
he has to manage the whole room. I have to have every guy in this
Yeah.
room ready to roll. Because if I had to use 4 quarterbacks at Liberty, then I might have to use 2 or 3 in the SEC. So I
Yep.
just think that a lot of that is him also like, I got to have everybody on confident. I got to have everybody ready to roll. We talked last episode, you got to recruit everybody on your team constantly. They can up and
Yeah.
leave at any damn point, it seems. Nobody knows the rules for the portal and how that works. I see guys this week hitting the portal. I'm saying,
Yeah.
I guess they're grad transfers. I don't know. I cannot keep up anymore. But I just think that that's a lot of it, man, is trying to manage all of it too, bro.
Mm. Yeah, and like great point with Hugh at Liberty and everything he did there last year. We saw him go into Fayetteville and laid it on the Hogs. So, uh, look, I think we're gonna have 2 guys that are gonna be ready.
Yeah.
All right, and I don't think we need to really worry about quarterback. I honestly think there's bigger needs for Auburn on this team, right? We want to
Oh,
we want to see the receivers succeed and make plays down the field. All right, we want to see. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I want to see a route tree. All right, I want to see more
what that
than
is.
yeah than a gimmick a 1 man gimmick route. All right, like
Ugh,
I want to see a route tree, fellas.
man.
And I mean that's been a pain for Auburn. All right,
It was
for
funny watching the fireside chat, right? Because we know what Gus was. No route
Mhm.
tree. Everyone's doing this guy's running it in, this guy's running it out, and this guy's running a fade. So you just knew what was coming, or your tight end's running the drag, he's running a fade, he's running out, something like that.
Yeah,
But it was real simple. And then scouts have talked about that. When a guy like Seth Williams got drafted by the Broncos said this guy is talented. His route running sucks. He hasn't been developed.
yep.
But and then you go from that, and then I watched the fireside chat with Camden Brown, Jay Fair, and Coy Moore, and all those guys say this was too complicated. Last year was too complicated. They said they
Mhm.
practiced stuff. They would run stuff in the game that they had practiced maybe once or twice during the week,
Yeah.
and that they would be calling off the play in the huddle, and they would just be like,
Bro,
"Huh?"
Jay Fair said that they would get in the huddle and it would be just a scramble. Like everybody would just be scrambled because
Right.
they would be like, "Huh? Like what's
Right.
going on?"
This is so
And
complicated. Yeah.
yeah, and then he would say like he would line up and he'd just be like, What was it like? What am I supposed to do?" And
Bro, and
I don't
what tripped me out about that, dude, was they said that Ike didn't know. Ike Hillard. Ike
yeah.
Hillard played 10 years in the NFL. If your offense is too complicated for him, probably too complicated for freshman Jay Fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, the system's going to be a lot better. These guys are going to be put in a lot better position. I'll tell you who doesn't think that though, Blake,
Who is
is
that?
the administration up in Nashville at our
Mm.
SEC school in Nashville. They
Mm.
looked at it and they said, "You know who a good homecoming opponent is? Let's put
Mm.
Auburn on that thing."
Mm.
Now, before I get into this, I will say Auburn has lost 2 seasons. We've had 2 losing seasons in a row.
Mhm.
So I am coming from a perspective that's probably not necessarily the best perspective right now. But and we had a guy in our comments say, "Fellas, you do know that we're 21-21 versus Vanderbilt. We are 21-21 versus Vanderbilt. They owned us back when they used to ride trains to the games."
I think that was Mr. Bob.
Yeah, Bob, and no shots, buddy. We love you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, and you make a good point. You know what I mean? We are
Yeah.
21-21 with Ben. We're not arguing that. Our point is, or my point anyway, if Auburn's going to get back to where we think Auburn needs to be, Vanderbilt better not be a worry. Vanderbilt
Fact.
better not be no damn concern. Going to Nashville is not. I got a lot of y'all in my DMs saying, "How can Auburn go 10-2?" Well, winning at Vanderbilt. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But it's funny because this is becoming this thing. So, a couple weeks ago, multiple media outlets say Vanderbilt's going to win this game, and now Vanderbilt's saying this is homecoming. And I don't know if this has maybe changed up a little bit. I don't really pay attention to other people's homecomings like outside of Auburn, and even then, I don't remember who homecoming was last year. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's really something that really truly only matters if you're a student at the school. I know that in high school, what we did was who's the worst team? You
Yeah.
know, Panama City Bay, come get it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry to all if there's any tornadoes out there listening. I'm sorry, but my senior year, bro, we beat y'all 77-0. Bro, Trent, I'm not kidding. Trent Richardson had 14 carries for like 328, like first half. Yeah, dumb. Real quick, dumbest thing I ever saw. Milton High School, right across the street from where I'm at currently. Trent had 20 carries for 490 yards.
Oh my.
So, bro, I'm just standing there like, we ain't throwing the ball tonight. Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, bro, it's so a lot of times what I'm saying anyway is that a lot of times, man, they schedule somebody they say we can win, and I haven't got Benny's schedule right in front of me. Maybe Auburn is their most winnable game, but if you are an Auburn Tiger, dude, like if you're on that team, bro, you've got to look at this and say, oh, okay. Everyone's talking about a 21-21, so we've got the opportunity to turn that around. Let's take the lead. Everyone's talking about you're not going to be favored in this game. I'm guessing the thinking is it's a road game in the SEC. I mean, it won't be. The Nashville Alumni Club for Auburn alone will have that club will have more fans there than Vanderbilt will total. So much less how that stadium is going to be 75% orange and blue, because I hadn't seen a Vanderbilt game in years where they were the home team in Nashville. Everyone's like, hey, trip to Nashville. And they come over and take over your stadium. It's that Vanderbilt. It's not going to be homecoming for you. There's going to be more Auburn fans in the stadium at your homecoming, and you're going to get blown out. So
you think we blow them out?
Blow out Vanderbilt?
You think we blow them out?
Yeah, man. Yeah. If we don't.
It's been kind of close the last couple of times we played. You think we blow them out?
If we don't go up to Nashville and win by at least 17, then yeah, I got problems, bro. I got problems. I'm not trying to anchor down. I'm not trying to hear this.
Yeah, and I was thinking for sure you win the game like 38-20 or whatever, 38-17.
I'll take 31-17. I'll take 31-17.
Yeah, something like that. 34-17, whatever. But to me, I've been preaching this for a little while, right, on this show. And that is Auburn's been getting slapped in the face, all right, by multiple schools who historically are beneath Auburn. Okay. And this is another slap in the face, in my opinion, is for Vanderbilt to schedule you as their homecoming. All right. It shows that you aren't looked at like you used to be in the past. Okay. People don't fear you anymore. People don't look at Auburn on the schedule and say, damn, man, we're gonna lose Saturday. All right. They don't do that. They look at Auburn now and say, hey, that's a potential homecoming game. All right. Now, things are obviously shifting with who we have at head coach now and the recruiting that is being done and things like that. He hasn't coached a game yet, but you're about to find out what an ass whooping is like, okay? Because I think Hugh looks at this and says, "Hey, this is bulletin board
Yeah, it's
material."
gotta be, man.
Okay? Like you're not about to sit here and schedule me as your homecoming, okay?
Right.
And Elijah McAllister should absolutely be on a
Mm.
freaking tear that you transferred to Auburn and Vanderbilt scheduled you to come to Nashville and get treated as a homecoming game. Disrespectful, all right?
100%.
But I've been telling y'all, that is how Auburn is viewed right now with everybody around the country.
And rightfully so. Like, we can't argue it, man.
Yeah,
Like,
you
the
can't.
Auburn fan in us wants to. And, like, y'all know us if you've been listening to the show long enough. You know we're going to step up and be like, man, shut up. Quit talking about my team. You know we're going to go. We know we're going to come defend our Tigers, bro. We're going to ride for them. But it's one of them things where it's like, there has to be a sense of reality as well. And for whatever reason, there are some people in our fan base that struggle with this, Blake. I mean, you saw it whenever I dared to say we lost to Alabama in football. We got swept by them in basketball, and they beat us 3 out of 4 in baseball. And the final one was them eliminating us from the SEC tournament in Hoover. And I dared to point out they owned us this year in athletics. Yeah. And you saw the reaction. Dozens of people. I'm not following your podcast anymore. I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah.
You're a Bama homer. You know,
my favorite one is, don't you run an Auburn podcast?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but okay, I'm not sitting here screaming, let's go San Diego State, and I'm like, bro, Alabama made it further than we did in the NCAA tournament. All right. And like for me to get on Twitter and be like, the Aztecs, baby. Boom. I'm like, they swept us, dog. Like,
what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I'm not about to get on here and be like, San Diego State, what's up?
Okay. So to this point, in the SEC tournament, they eliminate us in baseball this year. They eliminate us. They get eliminated the next night. And all half of Auburn Twitter's on there. That would have been us playing in that game, but they eliminated us from this tournament less than 24 hours. But like, just shut up, man. Just shut up. And when in pointing this out does not make me a Bama fan. I do not like it. I hate it. It is what it is. I don't know what you want me to say. What do you want me to say? And then people are literally trying to argue back with me about it. And it's like, so you're saying that they didn't sweep us in basketball? It doesn't matter. We were still a better basketball team this year.
No, we weren't.
It doesn't matter. We played twice and they beat us, and it doesn't matter.
And we blew an 18-point lead. Shut up.
It doesn't matter. I think it matters. We played.
Yeah.
We played, and they won. It matters. If we split, I guess you can have an argument. They went 2-0 versus saying we have a better basketball team than them makes no sense. And even if we did, they beat us. So you can't. There's nothing to say there. So I do think that you're onto something with that. It's just like, all right, man, our fan base does have, I mean, some of my DMs are freaking hilarious. And I love y'all. I'm not trying to call anybody out, man, but like asking me how I think Auburn can win the West or make the playoffs this year. Please don't DM me that. Please don't.
You got to win the games on your schedule. All right?
I'll take I don't know, man. Like I'll take a Birmingham Bowl victory. You know what I mean? Like I just watched us lose to Houston in the Birmingham Bowl in our last postseason attempt. So I'm not about to come out here and say Cotton Bowl.
Look, I'll be honest with you, Dustin. I don't want no Birmingham Bowl. All right. I don't
but I'm just saying that would have been an improvement from last year's result.
Absolutely. All right. Absolutely. I don't want a Birmingham Bowl. But would I take one right now in year one?
I'm just saying, bro. Like,
oh, yes, I would. All right.
Yeah.
Now, do I want to hear the jokes that come along with that of, oh, you ain't even got to leave your state, yada, yada, yada. And no, I don't. All right. Highway, 280,
Right.
whatever. Like, I don't want to hear that, whatever. But I think Auburn is better than a Birmingham Bowl this year.
Yeah.
And, back to the point of Vanderbilt and seeing this news come out today, I think the Auburn Daily reported it. They threw an article up about Vandy, scheduling Auburn as the homecoming. Like, look, pull your pants up like a man. All right, strap the belt up, put the pads on, and go out there and whoop some ass in Nashville and let people know, dog, that the disrespect's got to stop with Auburn. And I think that's what Hugh's going to try to do. I don't think he's going to try to embarrass anybody. All right. I don't think he's going to try to embarrass anybody. But I think if Auburn does start pulling away, he's going to put his foot on the gas and say, hey, look, you ain't never, ever going to schedule me as homecoming ever again. Okay. Right. Like, you pick somebody else, dog. Like the days of Kentucky being homecoming or Missouri is about to be back. Like, that's who you schedule as your homecoming, not me.
Yeah.
And so I'm tired of seeing Auburn getting slapped in the face, man. It's getting old. It's frustrating. That's not who Auburn is. I told y'all the other day that Auburn right now is a top 15 program in the country. When Auburn's winning, they're inside the top 10 in the country. Okay. It's historical facts. All right. Mm-hmm. It's historical facts.
Listen, man, up until Kirby Smart, we were ahead of Georgia all time.
Absolutely.
That's changed now, but I mean, we're right there, and like, we're one good coach away. We're one good run away. Like, we've seen it done, man.
Dustin, let me tell you this. Speaking of before we wrap this up and get out of here, we're one coach away. We're one good run away. We're actually making a run at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time today with a 5-star linebacker, all right, Demarcus Riddick. Could this flip the script and be the first domino to fall, Dustin, for Hugh Freeze and his staff? How big would this be if Demarcus does pick the Auburn Tigers, Dustin?
Yeah, real quick, because I pulled up Vandy's schedule. They do play Kentucky and Missouri both at home, and they decided that Auburn would be the home game. So, like you said, bulletin board material, but you got to prove it.
Hey, that just means that they looked at that Missouri, and Auburn game last year, and they said, "Hey, all right, Missouri was actually better."
Right. Okay.
Maybe.
Nothing we can say, bro. There's nothing we can say. That's not a point you can argue. Demarcus Riddick, bro. Yeah, man. So we're sitting here. We're recording this on Tuesday night. It's going live 10 a.m. Wednesday morning. So as of right now, and we sitting right here at 7:06 Tuesday, July 25th. I'm not in the recruiting game, guys. I'm not. I live in Pensacola, Florida, so I'm not in Auburn. I'm not talking to coaches. Everything I get is secondhand. As of right now, feeling pretty good.
Gotta be
feeling pretty good. Trust the people that have told me this is looking good. These are people that would know. So this is kind of where I sit on this whole Demarcus Riddick situation as we sit here tonight. What happens? Because we had Tony Mitchell the night before it was time to commit too.
Yeah.
And Tony Mitchell got a 2 a.m. phone call from Tuscaloosa. And then it goes a different way the next morning. So for me, it's just about, I feel like Joseph Phillips, I know Joseph Phillips is in the bag. I feel like Demarcus Riddick I think we got him. Can we survive tonight? Because here's the funny thing. Georgia wants the kid bad. Bama wants the kid bad. I feel like Georgia's out based on everything that is just out there in the public at this point.
Yeah.
Bama's going to push hard. Bama's going to push. There was a reason why they pushed so much for Tony. It's because they have to avoid this as long as they can.
Yep.
And it's funny because really it's like it's only one recruit. And like, as much as I want Demarcus and I'm going to be excited if we pull this off, does Demarcus Riddick make a big, you know what I mean? Like, does that make the big dent? Like, I don't know. It's a message. It's like, okay, we're here. We finally got somebody from you. But if you're a Bama, if I was Bama, I would still be saying, okay, you got one. Like, I wouldn't be sweating it that much if I was them. But the reason that they are sweating it that much is because it's like, oh, damn. Y'all have got no proof of concept as a staff. You haven't even suited up yet. And you're already still in 5 stars that Georgia and Bama are really pushing for. And let's look at it. Let's look at the linebacker room in particular. DJ Barber, stud. We both agree, super underrated.
Yeah.
You already know what Joe Phillips is. You know how bad Georgia wanted him. You should know.
Yep.
You should look at Georgia's pedigree of linebackers over the last 5 years and feel really good about getting guys that Georgia wants. The linebacker room of Demarcus Riddick and those other 2 guys, Joe Phillips and TJ Barber, man, for Josh Aldridge, what a freaking haul if he is able to pull this off, man. It really is. And then in the era of NIL in 2023, it's also indicative of the work that On the Victory is doing, because you at least have to be in the ballpark. Not every kid is picking the highest offer. They're not. We've got some guys on our roster that accepted lower all, and that's across the country. But you've got to be in the ballpark.
Yep.
Like it can't be a Connor Lou situation pre Hugh Freeze where Lou's sitting back saying, I'm not getting anything. You're not even interested in it? Like, you're not even interested in helping me out? Well, Miami's interested in helping me out. Let me go. And Hugh comes in and says, no, we're interested in helping you out, Bubba. We got you. We got you. We got you. Now come to the school that you want to come to. He always wanted to come to Auburn. You just had to be in the ballpark. I don't know the numbers to Connell's recruitment based off of what we know. I feel comfortable saying Miami threw a bag. But you just got to be in that area, man. You just got to offer something. It's got to be respectable to the guys. So it's a testament to them as well. And this will just be one of those, man, where it will just be hard to deny it. It'll be hard to deny. There's nothing that they can say. They can't spin this one any kind of way. Georgia and Bama both wanted this guy really bad. He's a game changer. He can play right away. And one thing that I'm really starting to notice is this narrative that Hugh is selling of come be different. Why do you want to go do this? I mean, if you're DeMarcus, you might redshirt at Bama as a freshman.
Yeah.
Versus coming in and playing right away, or at least having a pretty good opportunity to play right away at Auburn. And linebacker's a spot there that you can get on the field. So you can get on the field early. So I'm really hopeful, man. I'm cautiously optimistic with every big-time recruit because I am just a jaded Auburn fan. I will say that if I was a recruiting guy, if that was my game, I would have a crystal ball in based off all the intel that I have. I think this is going to happen. I feel really, really good about this one. I'm like highly, highly confident, right? It's all about making it past the finish line here, bro. It really is. Because right now, as we sit, Bama knows he's going to Auburn. So if it's really somebody they want, I guarantee you that they're behind, they're conjuring it up, and he's going to get a phone call. So tomorrow's his mom's birthday. That's why he's committing tomorrow. It's supposed to be his final decision. Listen, dude, this one right here would be, I'm going to talk. If we pull this off, you can find me. My handle's right there. If you listen on audio, DMICHAUD28. I will be talking mad shit tomorrow at about 5 p.m. Central Time if this goes away, that I think it's going to go, because this is big time. Don't let anybody tell you any different. And here's the really big thing about it. If you get DeMarcus on Wednesday, if you get a 5-star linebacker on Wednesday, then he comes to Big Cat this weekend, Blake, and he's able to recruit for you. And now you've got guys like I feel good about TJ Lindsey, though, defensive lineman. Watch him this weekend. But you got guys like DeMarcus. You got guys like Joe Phillips, big-time recruits. You got guys like Walker White, big-time recruits that can come in and say, look, guys, come join us. We're doing something here. Now it's not going to – now if guys are interested in this whole turn it around thing, they're probably like, I'm interested, but I can't do it by myself. I need some help. Then they start seeing those guys start to stack up, and they start seeing them reinforcements stack up, and they say, man, maybe I could join those guys, and we could do that. If you're a recruit, listen to this podcast. Why do you want to go win Bama's 200th national championship? They won't remember you. You'll be a blip. You'll just be another guy. I can't even remember their Heisman winners at this point. And 10 years ago, we made fun of them for not having any. And now I don't even know if they've got 3, 4, 5. I don't care. Like, it's just a machine. So, yeah, I get all the stuff, the winning, the pro, like the route to the NFL. I understand all of that. Come be different, man. Be different. We can provide all of those same things, minus it being the easiest route to victory. You're going to lose a little more games your first year with Auburn than you will with Bama, 100%. But be part of something special, man. Be part of something that Auburn fans look back on and say, those were the guys. Because you know why Bama fans love Mark Ingram and Julio and all those guys so much? Because those were the OGs. Mm-hmm. Those were the guys that turned it around. The Greg McElroys. Those were the guys that led Bama out of those 6 straight losses to Auburn, to us. Mm-hmm. That led them out of that no national title since 1992, which to them is freaking, oh, God. So be that. Be that. There's a whole – our guys over at the College Loop, right? Those guys are all their early 20s, man. Mm-hmm. The kick 6 was almost too long ago for them at this point. They really don't know nothing about 2004, right? They really don't know nothing about the 11-2 season that Tommy busted off where we won the Cotton Bowl, beat Nebraska. They don't know about those times. They only have these 9 straight years of 4+ losses, really. There's a whole generation of Auburn fans now that haven't seen what Auburn is capable of, bro. So it's just time to get back to that, Blake, and you start by winning in the living room.
Look, I'll be honest. If Auburn lands Demarcus Riddick at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, Auburn Twitter will explode, people. All right? Yeah. Auburn social media will explode. It will be electric. It should, okay? You should go crazy. You should get on there and you should talk mad noise to the nearest Alabama fan, the first one that you can find, okay? And you can say, hey, guess what? The script is starting to flip a little earlier than we thought. All right. A little earlier than we thought. My boy Hugh ain't even ran out the tunnel yet. All right. We hadn't even played a game. And you're already stealing one from Alabama and Georgia. If this happens, this is monumental. This could lead. All right. What if Perry Thompson comes on down to Big Cat? All right. Mm-hmm. There's been a little hostility this week. All right. Is he going to the Bama barbecue? Is he coming to Big Cat? All right. You got Demarcus Riddick saying, hey, Bama, I'm out. All right. I'm going over here to Big Cat. I'm an Auburn Tiger. And then Perry sitting here going, hey, man, like, he did it. Like, I think I want to do it. All right. It could lead to things, and that's 1 domino fall. That's 2 domino fall. Mm-hmm. It could lead to things, man. People start looking at you differently, not only in the conference, but nationally. All right? You're no longer the slap in the face Vanderbilt homecoming, okay? Yeah. You're back to top 10 program in the country. You're back to calling Penn State back down here for an ass whooping, okay? And say, hey, come back down, all right? Come back down because we didn't give you the proper treatment, all right? Because we had Potato Man running around over there not knowing what he was doing, all right? You can go out to a Lincoln Riley and USC and say, hey, let's link up one time like we did back in the early 2000s and let's play a home and away, all right?
Don't do that.
No, but you could go up there to Eugene and say, hey, our little Pac-12 rival Oregon Ducks, we played in Dallas. We played in Arizona for the Natty. How about let's do a home and away? We play at Autzen. Y'all play at Jordan-Hare, you can get back on getting some respect if this happens, all right? You can not be embarrassed by Missouri fumbling out of the back of the end zone and in overtime and you almost getting embarrassed like that. I mean, it's been rough. All right. And for all of you Auburn fans out there, take a deep breath and just let it go, man, because this could be absolutely huge. A position of need at linebacker. All right.
Big time.
A position of need. And for you to get one of the biggest, baddest dudes in the country. All right. And a 5-star. All right. A 5-star, Dustin. That feels good. All right.
Been since
Around the
oh,
exactly. There you go. There's my point, man.
2019.
It feels good around the program, man. Like it's been so long and just you haven't been this dominant. If you do land this and you have a coach who cares, and remember what I told you, get your 2 phones jokes, get them in. All right. Get them in, dig them. I mean, dig them, get them out there. Like I'm sick of seeing them. All right. Because if this happens, it's on, my buddy. And like I said, 1 domino fall, 2 domino fall. All right. And then that leads to 3, 4, and 5 falling.
Like with Florida a couple weeks ago, remember?
Yeah.
Florida had that big stretch there, 7-10 days. And like you
Yep.
said, man, dominoes falling. You get one guy and they're 17 years old. And if they're
Yeah.
on the fence and then they see a big time guy, they go, oh, okay. So like you said, man, it only takes one. And you've already got some pieces in a Walker White and a Joe Phillips where they can look at and say, okay, I can see this class has a foundation. Let me fill it out.
Yep.
Night and day, bro. This is night and day from where we were at this point last year in recruiting. Yeah, for sure.
Just the excitement.
We think we're going to land a 5-star linebacker tomorrow. We think we're going to beat Georgia and Alabama. Jeffrey Lee put in a prediction today. There's crystal balls from official experts. So I'm not saying anything that's not, out there. If we're wrong at this point, we're wrong with Chad Simmons and everybody else that does this. So, it is what it is. This could be Friday might be fun. Friday's episode might be fun. On Friday, we're going to be previewing the Big Cat, and we might have if this pops, man, we'll definitely be back on here to talk about it again.
Yeah, I'm excited. Demarcus,
come home, baby.
Come home. 4:00. Come home. Do it. Shock the world, bro.
Yeah.
Shock the world.
And hit ignore when they call you tonight. Just hit ignore. There's nothing you don't need. There's nothing for you to listen to.
Shock the world. Be an Auburn Tiger. Flip the script. I love saying it. I'll say it over and over again. Change the vision in the state. All right. And I told my dad the other day, I said, Hugh kind of feels like Pat Dye, right?
Yep, 100%.
You're down. All right. You're down right now. It's like you're the kid that gets picked on. All right.
Bama's in the middle of a dynasty.
They're in the middle of a dynasty. They're the big boy at school. They're the bully. All right. You get picked on. You get picked last. All right. To play recess. And Pat Dye steps in. All right. He beats the University of Alabama. Bear Bryant retires. All right. That was it.
Yeah,
Pat Dye takes over. And the rest is history, right? Now you're back in the same situation. You're down. All right. You've been getting the piss beat out of you. And it's getting old. All right. It's getting sour. And you got Hugh Freeze coming in. It just feels like a Pat Dye situation, man. It feels like he's the guy that will resurrect us and rest his soul, Coach Pat Dye. One of the best things that happened to Auburn University, right?
Made it what it is today.
Exactly. And that's why I text my dad the other day and I said, I just got that feeling. I wasn't around when Pat Dye was the coach at Auburn University. All right. I'm only 32 years old, but I live off of what my dad tells me. And my dad always tells me, hey, the things that he done, all right, he's the GOAT, man. Like that dude laid the groundwork. All right. He was the guy. And hopefully Hugh Freeze can be mine and your Pat Dye. That I hope one day I can walk into that living room and tell my son Levi, say, hey, Hugh Freeze changed it for us. All right.
And it's funny too on that comparison, Blake, because Harsin was our Doug Barfield.
Man, get it out of here.
Harsin was our Doug Barfield, so it all lines up.
Oh man.
He almost even wore orange jerseys like Doug Barfield. He flirted with it anyway.
What a clown week that was. Oh man. But look, let's wrap it up, Dustin. It was a hell of an episode. I enjoyed talking with you about the quarterbacks and recruiting and even being a damn homecoming game in Nashville. That was
never thought I'd see the day, man. We got to flip the script, like you say.
Yeah, tough to swallow. But hey, look, go over to Spotify, rate us 5 stars if you could. Go over to Apple, rate us 5 stars there if you could. Leave a comment, what you like about the show. Get in the YouTube comments. Let us know. There's been a lot of action down there in the comments, and we try to get in there and we try to respond to each and every one of you. If we miss you, I'm sorry. We will catch you on the next one. It's been about 50 comments an episode the last couple episodes. So if we miss you, we're sorry. But we thank each and every one of you for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of the day. And hopefully the Auburn Tigers have great news this afternoon. We will catch y'all on the next one. War Damn Eagle. And we are